Hi guys, I am here with your next recycled art lesson. So yesterday we did the toilet paper mandalas. Today we are going to use food boxes, cereal boxes, that kind of thing, and I'm going to show you how to do a cereal box mosaic picture. So you want a couple different boxes so you have a variety of color. Please make sure you ask an adult and make sure the boxes are empty before you start cutting them apart. So you'll need those, you'll need glue, white glue or a glue stick, either one will work, and some scissors. So gather up those and then we'll get started. So to glue your pieces to make your picture, you can use paper, white paper if you want to, or you can use like part of the food box. This happens to be a Lucky Charm box. It's the back of it. I just cut off the sides and the flaps so I have a nice surface to work with. So if you wanted to do that, you could just use this. So then what you want to do is take, what works really good is when you cut the strips of the boxes off, save those pieces, and those are the ones that we're going to cut up. So I had a variety of boxes here that I was saving. So I had some strips from a cracker that had yellow on it. I had the top of this box that had red. I had another box that happened to have, it was oatmeal actually, that had some brown on it, so I cut that up. Right here, the brown pieces. That another box had green on it, so I cut the green up. So, and then I had graham cracker box, so I had blue. Whatever colors you want, and kind of, I'll show you, stack them into piles of colors. Another good one to use, and some people don't even think about it, is the part that has the writing with the white. That can be good too. So all you want to do with the strips is you're just going to cut these into shapes. You can do squares. I'm just kind of going back and forth and making like, some are triangles, some are squares, rectangles, just whatever shapes you can come up with. Big, small, doesn't matter, because you can always trim pieces down. And I'll put those into a pile. Now you can do any sort of picture that you would like to. If you wanted to do a face, that would be fine too. You could do that. And instead of cutting them into these kind of shapes, you could cut out the shapes of a face. So you could do circles for the eyes, whatever shape nose you want. You could do a rainbow with a line across for the mouth. You could do that if you wanted to. You can do any type of shape or picture that you would like to. I am going to do a flower picture because I spent most of my weekend planting my flowers in my flower garden. So I'm going to do that, and since it's kind of rainy and yucky today, it's something nice to look at. So my suggestion is that you lay out your pieces on here before you glue. That way it's easier to move. And if you don't like it, you can just brush the pieces off and start again. So I'm going to start. So mosaics are done a lot of times with glass tiles, and they use the glass tiles to make pictures that way. You can do mosaics with any type of material, really. You can use, like we're using paper, you can use paper to do it, you can use pictures, whatever you want. And then you just, usually when mosaics are done, the pieces aren't put right on top of each other or touching. There's space in between because mosaics have something called grout, which is kind of a sand and glue mixture, and that's pressed down between the glass. So I'm leaving a little space between mine. Like I said, I am doing a flower picture, so I'm using the green pieces from the box that I found. And you can see that I'm not keeping them the same shape. Once you have a picture in mind or an idea in mind, it's okay to take these pieces and cut them down to what you need them to be. So I got the stem going there. Now I'm going to work on a leaf. I think that piece kind of works good as a leaf. This one's kind of tall. So you can cut them down to any size you want. But the pieces that you cut down, don't throw away because you might want to use those again. So I'm going to get this glued on real quick, and then I'm going to hold it up and show you what I mean by leaving a space in between. We obviously are not going to grout ours, but if you leave a space in between, it will give the idea of grout lines, which is how a regular mosaic is done. I'm using white glue. Glue stick works perfectly fine too. Glue stick actually probably works a little bit better, honestly, because the pieces won't curl as much. If they start curling on you when you're using white glue, after you get your picture done, you can flip it over and lay something like a book or something on top of it, and that will flatten it out. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by the space in between. Hopefully you can see. So I did glued the pieces on, but like right in between there. I didn't put them right next to each other. I left a little bit of a space in between my pieces. So there's that. Now I'm going to work on the flower. So I think I'm going to use one of these yellow pieces for the inside of the flower. And since I don't really know what shape I'm going to do, I'm going to set these on here first. And see how I like them. Some pieces might need to be adjusted a little bit. Some might be okay the way they are. That works out pretty good. Okay, so I like the way that looks. So now I can glue. And I always, anytime I'm working on something like this, where I've planned out the pieces, I leave them right where they are and then flip up each one individually and glue it and press it right back down. That way you know exactly where the piece goes and you don't have to try and guess when there's wet glue on it. And you don't need, if you're using white glue, even if you're using glue stick, either one really, you don't need to put a lot of glue on these pieces. It is thicker than paper, but it's still not a super heavy material, so you don't need to add a lot of glue. And if it starts peeling up, it doesn't mean that there's not enough glue. It just means that there hasn't been enough grab time, meaning the glue has not had enough time to really start attaching itself to the picture. So sometimes you just got to go back through and hold and press for a couple seconds, and then it'll flatten out and really grab a hold of that. Okay. Pieces of my stem are starting to curl. And you can hold it down, or like I said, you can, when your picture is all done, you can flip it over and set a book or something heavy on top of it, and that'll make the pieces go down. So there's my flower. Now you could add, if you have more, like I have a lot more pieces. I cut up a lot more than what I actually was going to use. You can save those for later if you wanted to do another mosaic. You could use your other pieces. Or you could add things to your picture. So I could take some of these green pieces and I could glue them along the bottom to make grass. I could do another small flower right down here. I could do a sun up in the corner, whatever you have room for. You can also add details to this using markers. You don't just have to use the cereal boxes. You can use whatever you have. So if you guys do a mosaic picture, post a picture. I'd love to see what creative ideas you guys come up with. Have fun.